Hello, my name is Robert Wolf.
And I'm Gabriel Peterson.
And we're coming to you live at the ARM booth, GDC, Game Developers Conference 2023. All right. Hey, hello, everyone. Once again, this is our fourth live stream live here at GDC in 2023 at the ARM booth S550. If anyone is wondering, but still, you could have some fun with us now. We have had a blast today.
Oh, definitely. I've seen a lot of the. Yeah, I know. Completely mocking me. Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people. My voice has been worn out for good reason.
Yeah, actually, mine too, though, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been amazing, right? So, we kind of did a little booth crawl earlier today in the morning live stream. We have several iPads posted around the booth, all focused on the ARM developer program. And we have gotten so many signups. So for those of you who are in the ARM developer program, get ready to be joined by some amazing game developers in the ecosystem. And I'm excited to welcome them into our Discord community. Let's do this one more time. It's going to focus right there.
Yep.
Scan that QR code. Join us for the ARM developer program. Now, Gabe, I want to remind everyone real quick about the schedule here.
Yeah.
We have done two live streams yesterday. We had a pregame and a wrap up. Then we had two live streams, or are on our second live stream today, pregame this morning and the wrap up right now, talking about what we experienced throughout the day today, as well as what we look forward to tomorrow. Now, this particular episode, we have two guests joining us.
I know it's going to be great. You're going to hear from some of the people manning the booths and really giving some great demos that have just been a hit with everyone who's walked by.
Yeah, not only demos, but they've also done some talks too.
Yeah.
So we'll be joined by Jose Emilio Munoz Lopez, who is a staff software engineer, and Roberto Lopez Mendez, who's a principal engineer at ARM. They're both going to be joining us in just a minute. We have Emilio, who will be talking to us about his ray tracing and variable rate shading demo, which is on this booth right over here, the pod. And that has been pretty much the hit of the booth so far here at the conference. And then Roberto, who is going to be joining us to talk about, he's been coming to this event for 10 years. All right. So he's going to be able to give us a lot of insights into how the event's changed and some of the cool stuff that he's noticing the trends throughout the last 10 years. So I guess real quick, Gabe, has there been any fun stuff or things that you have done today that you want to share?
Well, for me, one of the fun things is I have not actually got to sit through any of the demos all the way through. So now that we actually put some on film, I got to see what everyone else was seeing. And I can see why it was so popular and impressive.
That's true. Yeah, actually, we recorded two of them, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if we literally put them on film. No one does that anymore.
Hey, it's still a valid expression. I'm not that old.
Yeah, no, but yes. So we got to record two of the demos, and it was actually pretty amazing because, like Gabe said, we've been roaming around so much, talking to people nonstop, that to actually have an opportunity to get to listen to the demo pitches was actually pleasant.
Yeah.
So you did the ARM Mobile Studio demo.
Yes.
And then I did the ray tracing and ray shading.
Yeah, but we were both there for both of them.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. He was my camera person. I was his camera person. And it was a lot of fun. Cool. So one of the things I actually noticed today, which was slightly different than yesterday, the first day, today's day two, yesterday, day one at the expo hall, was that the floor is a little bit less busy.
I was surprised about that too. And the demographic seems to be slightly different. I'm noticing more game developers and enthusiasts.
Game designers.
Game designers. Yes, you notice the same thing. More game designers and enthusiasts than there were developers. It seemed to be developer heavy yesterday.
Gabe, you promised that you were going to go see a talk today.
So did you?
And I did.
No, you didn't.
I totally did.
No.
Yes.
Not unless you snuck away and attended a 5-minute talk.
He doesn't know, because guess what? I got a private talk from Koki Matsunami, who gave it to me in front of this very camera. So I actually did see a talk.
That's cheating, but Fair.
Yeah. So we had Koki join us, who gave a talk earlier today. That talk wasn't recorded. So we said, Koki, can you come join us at this amazing background with our arm bots? And can you give that talk again so that we can record it and then post it on the YouTube channel? And he did. And so I got to see that talk. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, truly amazing. It went for about 20 minutes. So I can't wait to get Gabe to edit it. And then we'll share it with you on the YouTube channel. We also hope to get a few more of these talks recorded too before the end of this event, which ends tomorrow. Now, Gabe, I think unless you have any other things to share, I'd love to bring Emilio in to tell us a little bit more about his demo and answer some questions.
Oh, definitely. I don't want to take any old time away from that. So, Emilio, why don't you unmute your mic and step on?
All right. Emilio's coming in. See if nothing gets knocked down. Emilio.
Hello.
Yeah, see, there you are right there. But let's look up at the camera as much as possible. Emilio, welcome to Innovation Coffee. We're here at GDC. I have some questions for you, but first, maybe you can talk into the camera and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do it on.
Yes, great to be here. I'm Emilio. I'm a software engineer. So I'm part of an amazing team of developers at ARM that do some graphics research. We try to find the best way to optimize games for our mobile hardware. So we're always looking for future-looking use cases and getting feedback from developers on how to make the most of our hardware.
Awesome. Great. And you were the one who, or at least you and your team, right, are the ones who did the ray tracing and variable rate shading demo.
Yeah.
Excellent. So maybe like before we dive in, because I have like 4 or 5 questions here. Before we dive into those questions, could you just kind of fill us in? Like, what is ray tracing and what is ray shading?
Right. So ray tracing is something that has been around for some time, but only like very high-end PC and consoles. And it is now a reality on mobile, thanks to ARM's Immortalis GPU. What it allows you to do is to simulate how the light behaves in the real world, and with that, add that extra level of photorealism to your frames. Variable ray shading, on the other hand, is something that can be applied to any sort of effect. We can apply it to ray tracing, but we can apply it also to more traditional full screen post-processing, for instance. And what it allows us to do is to maximize the performance of your frame by reducing the resolution at certain areas in such a way that there is no visual quality loss, but we do get that performance boost that we really need in some of games.
Amazing. Yeah. And so we actually did a demo video with Emilio right on his pod, right across the other side of his wall. And we will post that as well in the description. So when we post that video, we're going to do a little post editing to it, but we're going to post that video on the YouTube. We'll include it in this playlist for the GDC 2023 playlist. So check the description below if you're watching this on demand, and you'll find the link to the full demo that Emilio showed us. One of the cool things I noticed, right? So you not only had 2 demos, right? You had the ray tracing and the rate shading, ray shading.
PRS for sure.
Yeah. But you also had a demo that you collaborated with Tencent Gaming. And so we pulled out the little game on the mobile device. It's like a first-person shooter type game, and you were able to toggle on the ray tracing on and off.
Yes, really see that the difference it makes. Yeah.
Yes. So you could be looking at the ground and you could notice that you were getting reflections from the ceiling lights, or you could look at the walls and you could see that there was some, ray tracing on the walls.
Yeah. A lot of games like to give that possibility to gamers to really tune up their experience and customize what they want to see. If they want ray graphics or something else, there's always that option. So.
And you were still able to get some pretty good frame rates.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's amazing.
All right, cool. So let's go with the first question I have here. Who should care about ray tracing?
I would say anyone that is developing an application where you really need that extra level of detail and realism. It could be a game, like we saw earlier with the first-person shooter. It could be some augmented reality application where you have an asset in the 3D space and you want it to really blend into the real world. You want to show off reflections of elements around it. So that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it's something that just gives that extra level of realism and detail into your mobile graphics application.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of like who should care about ray tracing? I mean, developers who are making games and all those different games and or those other things. But I feel like also the player.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you can really tell the difference, as we showed earlier in the demo. You're playing, you want to really feel immersed into the game. There's nothing yet that quite drives that home as something that it really behaves like you will expect in the real world, like shadows, color bleeding, the refractions, all these sort of things that are very difficult to replicate without ray tracing, but ray tracing makes everything just that so much more realistic.
It's actually kind of crazy nowadays with how much compute there is and what people are able to do with games. A simple thing like that can truly break immersion. So like you're immersed in this game, and all of a sudden you notice these things more and more as technology advances. So very cool that now we're starting to see this through the Immortalis G715 on mobile devices. All right, so let's go to the next question. How will it enhance the fidelity of mobile games?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, so what we're saying is that, as you said just now, what we want is to make everything just much more realistic. Like we can see in other industries, like the film industry, where they can take like all the time they need to really get that very, very detailed level of photorealism that until now hasn't been possible anywhere. But now we can do that real time. And that's going to make a big difference, I think, in every this sort of applications where we want to immerse the player and make them feel like they're really there.
Awesome. All right, cool. Now I have looks like 1, 2, 3 more. What do developers need to watch out for when they start using this?
Yeah, so to really get like full path trace scene, we are actually following the laws of physics. We want to replicate how the light behaves with the objects in the scene. And to do that in reality, you need like an infinite number of rays. But we don't have that, even on consoles. What we have to do is really make very good use of all those rays. So as a developer, you need to keep into account that every ray needs to make a difference to the final scene. So for that, we offer some best practices. We also have some use cases, how to apply rays efficiently for shadows, for reflections, and also some techniques like rendering at a lower resolution or using some of the API features that give you that some customization into iteration structures to optimize and make sure that every ray counts.
Awesome. So yeah, I want to make sure that we're getting Roberto mic'd up in just a second. Awesome. But we do have a couple more questions here. How does Immortalis, I love that. It's such a cool name for a GPU.
Yeah.
How does Immortalis hardware acceleration help all of this stuff that you guys are building?
Yeah, so without hardware acceleration, we can do something like software emulation for ray tracing. In fact, this might be needed if you need to support ray tracing in older generation devices. And that's what we're showing here at GDC last year. But now that we have Immortalis out in the market and we have devices that can actually have hardware acceleration, this is all becoming just much more than a proof of concept. Like we can now achieve this high level of realism in real time today in all these devices. And that's only going to get more and more from now.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't a question on my list here, but I thought I'd ask it anyways. I think a lot of people maybe don't understand like the process it takes to go from design to the product, to the development of a use case on that product. So you guys have been working on this for years.
Yeah.
Like the Immortalis, the idea of Immortalis was years ago.
Yeah.
The licensing of the Immortalis was years ago. The fact that now we have a chip in a device is very recent.
Yeah.
And so when did you start building all of this stuff out? Was this like months of work, years of work since you've had the device on hand?
Okay, so yeah, as you said, it started way before that. But once we got the device on hand and we actually tried the demo there, we were working with, as I mentioned, software emulation and desktop, but seeing that run 60 FPS on a mobile phone, this only happened like a couple of months ago, and we were wowed by it. And we just couldn't stop. We kept optimizing, kept adding more effects. We're looking now into global illumination. We're looking into skinned animations. And there's so much more we want to try now that we have our hands into this silicon.
Did you pop a champagne bottle?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. All right. So last but not least here, what would you say if you chose one thing, or you can pick multiple things if you want, but what are some of the things that you have found most exciting or most just kind of fulfilling about being here at GDC with fellow developers?
Yeah, I would say the one thing for me is being at the booth, connecting with developers, seeing their use cases, where they come from. We have a lot of diversity, a lot of use cases and ideas, and discussing that and making them excited about ray tracing and our variable ray shading and all our technology has been not just very rewarding, but also an amazing opportunity just for me to connect with them and also bring all this back to my team and see what we can do to help everyone here.
You guys, Gabe, you're experiencing it for the first time, right? Like being at a conference, it's intense. But, you guys hold it together. You're there talking to the developers, showing them all the cool stuff that we're doing here at On. And, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us here on Innovation Coffee. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See you back in the booth in a minute. All right. So coming up now, we have another very special guest, Roberto Lopez Mendez, principal engineer at ARM. We're going to talk about his 10 years at GDC. 10 years, right, Roberto? Let's bring it in. You're all mic'd up and stuff, right? We haven't had someone knock something over yet.
Hi, Robert.
So you're down here, but we're looking up here, right? Cool.
So maybe you don't remember, but we did already this one for the innovation. There was an innovation cafe some time ago.
Yeah, that was I think a year. Yeah. So we were talking about this not long ago, and now we're showing demos here.
Okay, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's
And now that he's talked about that innovation coffee, we'll make sure to put the link of it down in the description for you watching on demand. So, Roberto, tell me, you've been coming to GDC for 10 years.
Yeah, I think since 2013, I think.
And we recently, in yesterday's opening episode, I was sharing some fun facts. And GDC's actually been going on for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
The first GDC had 25 people, and it was held in a living room.
Oh,
Yeah, 25 developers in a living room. Now, of course,
it's hard to believe how it became, right? This, because I don't know how many thousands of people are really now here.
yeah, so I looked it up. It says 27,000. It feels like maybe around there, possibly slightly less. Who knows? Could be more because there's several buildings around the area.
Definitely.
Either way, what are some of the things you've noticed, the biggest changes in terms of 10 years from now, 5 years, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and maybe up until now?
Okay, just let me tell you that when I started working on ARM, I was part of the ARM demo team, and our mission was to build demos to showcase Mali GPUs, right? To showcase the benefits Mali GPUs could bring to game developers, right? Or to players. And since that time, so I have been witnessing how ARM technology has improved during all these years, right?
Lots.
Since Mali 450, which is it's hard to believe, but it's still there, right? Many equipment are using Mali 450, including my digital TV, Amazon TV that I have got at home. Until the latest GPU, the Immortalis, right?
Yeah, the Immortalis 7.
And then when you compare, these two GPUs, then it's just, you can see how ARM has improved, how ARM technology has improved over all these years. Not only the GPU, but also the CPU, right? So it's just, it's unbelievable what we have at ARM have done, right? With the whole goal of making, better games, more performance, lower power consumption. So
Yeah, we were actually talking about two of the award shows they had yesterday. So they had the Independent Game Awards, and then they had, let me pull this up, they had the Game Dev Choice Awards. So the Independent Game Festival and the Game Dev Choice Awards. And, you think about all of the games that are out there, mainstream titles, and, of course, they're running on some beefy computers, but for the most part, gaming has been dominated by other chips. Yet, there are mobile games winning these awards now, legitimately competing and coming up as champions for these game awards. So pretty amazing to see. Again, you say how far has it come? It's come very far. I mean, 10 years ago, we barely got smartphones or something. That was not that long ago. 10, 15 years ago, Gabe? I don't know, not that long ago. So now all of a sudden we're doing some
right now we are showcasing a demo on ARM Immortalis, right?
Yeah.
Which is running ray tracing, right? Which is just a few years ago you wouldn't dream about that, right? Now it is in the hands of game developers. This new technology to have better graphics there, unbelievable quality, right? This was unthinkable just a few years ago.
100%.
And let me tell you something, because the demo that I'm showcasing here, we are showcasing a demo that's using smart agents in a multi-agent scenario. which is using the ARM CPUs. So right now we got machine learning, coming to graphics, and it's, I will say, like a second revolution or the third, I don't know, but it's revolutionizing graphics. Machine learning is now in graphics practically everywhere. And we are showcasing in our demo how the NPCs can be smart, and you can add, developers can add, can make the game more interesting, challenging, and ultimately improve the gaming experience. And we are running 100 smart agents on ARM CPU, which is, you wouldn't think about that, right?
Yeah, we actually, I just recorded Koki.
Oh, yeah.
So he gave his talk not too long ago, right? And this is, by the way, the demo he's talking about, this is about building better battles with ML agents. So this is a collaboration between ARM and Unity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so basically building smarter NPCs and providing huge teams of agents, smart agents, you said 100 plus, right? So Koki gave his talk. It was not recorded. But again, I think I said this earlier. We got Koki behind this camera. We recorded him. He gave the talk all over again. So we got to record it.
We will record the Koki's talk as soon as we are back to the office.
You can record it again, but we did it too.
You did already?
Yeah, we did it. We wanted to get the bots in.
No, that's great. That's
So
great.
we recorded it just like this. It came out beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when we get that listed, of course, we'll make sure that everything looks good.
Yeah.
But when we get that put up on the YouTube, we can link that. We can also.
That's great. I will really recommend to game developers to watch this talk, because we are showcasing how you can improve your games by using machine learning, using reinforcement learning to train agents and practically do what they want, what you want. I mean, watch here in our demo, we have two armies of bunnies colliding, and the bunnies are just, using a pan to break an egg or kill the enemies.
Or defend the egg.
Oh, and defend the egg, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But for example, yesterday I was attending a talk where they were using just 3 or 4 smart agents, and they were doing, it was a rolling coaster, very complex things, right? So if you use Unity machine learning kit, you just need to define there what the agent can do and what is the agent goal, right? And then use the environment, which is already built in Unity, the emulation kit, and run the simulation, and you won't need to code anything. The agent will become smarter and smarter as the simulation progresses. And you will have really smart agent in your game, and your game will be more interesting, more challenging for your user, for the players, right?
I loved the talk, right? Like, and so, Kogi painted the picture. He was basically like, you have attackers, you have defenders, you have discoveries, people who are just discovering things, wanderers. And so, all of a sudden you have some attackers going in to destroy the enemy's eggs. The defenders go in and try to say, okay, well, we need to cover all the gaps. Don't let them get to the eggs. But then the attackers realize that because they're defending so hard that they're not able to send attackers out. So then the attackers say, well, we got to send more attackers in. Let's get our defenders out of here, send them in as attackers. So they're constantly making decisions.
Yeah.
And there is nothing, as a gamer.
This is the planner.
Yes.
The planner, which is deciding which is the right amount of defenders or attackers that is better to have to achieve the goal, because the only thing they are trained just to achieve the goal and achieve that they have been defined to achieve, right?
Yes. And I tell you, like, as a gamer myself, right, like I've been gaming since I was 5 years old, the original NES. The only thing worse to a gamer, I feel, is like when you have bad AI. Like when you when you're playing a game and you have bad AI, like you notice it very easily, especially when you're playing like real-time strategy games and stuff like this funny game you guys made. Cool. So let's go into just one or two more questions here, Roberto. I really want to touch on the fact that you've been coming here for 10 years. So like, as a developer yourself, as an engineer, as someone who manages engineers, like, what would be something that you were telling a developer out in the audience watching this now or on demand? If you said, hey, this is one of the reasons or two of the reasons why you should be at GDC. So if they're a game developer out there and they were able to come, what would be the reasons that they should come here?
Oh, for example, I mean, I will say that you have to come to GDC if you want to be, witness of what is happening now with ML, machine learning, and graphics, right? That revolution that I mentioned, and the reason is the machine learning is critical, right? So I personally have attended several talks, very interesting. For example, how different companies have been using GPT in their games to generate codes, to generate textures. So, and it was very interesting to attend a talk where there is already the vision where in the near future, you just will need to describe the type of scene you want, and the system will do for you.
Wow. Yeah, well,
So that is amazing, right? But you need to be here. You need to come to GDC for
this
that.
is the
Right?
bleeding edge.
Exactly, right? But this is in that sense. But of course, for the latest techniques in graphics, right? Rendering, you just need to come here as well, right?
Yeah, so I noticed what was it yesterday? I think when we were at dinner, you were talking about a book that you may be interested in because there's also some books here being sold, right? This is the place to discover some of the newest things, but I guess it's also a place to network as well. I mean, I should say, walking around the event, standing here at the booth, there are so many developers, designers, people like-minded, but also an opportunity to possibly create a diverse team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not just engineering, it's not just people coding, but I mean, there's people here that are artists, and you need artists. I found out that you guys actually had to commission a lot of art to get this game.
Yeah. You can find here artists, programmers, marketing people. You can network with them. You can, maybe you will find the right contact for your future game, for the game which is you are developing. So it's great. I mean, GDC is great. There are thousands of people here. I don't know if that 10,000 or more. So you will find people from all over US, but also from all over the world.
Although I noticed a lot of people from South America,
Oh yeah.
Argentina especially.
Yeah.
I mean,
Deal.
cheers to Argentina. Yeah, of course. Okay, so I have one last question, and this is something we were talking about yesterday. And I want to talk to you more offline about it as well. But motion capture. Me and Gabe were having to talk about this. There's motion capture suits all over the event.
Yeah.
Right? But I was kind of posing the question to Roberto last night. I was like, well, are we in this stage where we need motion capture now, but at some point does it become obsolete with cameras doing the job?
Yeah, and I answered to you yesterday. I showed you, right? Because it is because your question was, is it possible to get rid of all this costume? No, with all the things, and I think that we are on that way. And an example, I mentioned a company that we are in contact with them because we are helping them to support their solution to Android, to ARM Android, right? In the sense that the library we use for machine learning, which use the machine learning technology to extract the animation from any video. So, and it is already used for gaming. So you can imagine you can build an animation library for your game just from video. I can record you with my mobile phone doing what you want, your character to do in your game, and then use that solution to extract the animation and then pass that animation to your character in the game, or to pass that animation data to your character in the VR or in the metaverse. But the point is that it's not, for some application, the accuracy is not enough. It has been used already. That solution exists.
Or it's just not fast enough. It's not accurate enough.
Exactly. In some cases, for example, for movies, right? You need very precise, animation. When you use this costume, you have a set of reflectors and a set of camera around, which are infrared cameras that are capturing the position and orientation of all these sensors, right?
Joints, yeah.
Exactly, joint and so on. So it is a complex system, but I think that we are on that way to replace all that, right?
So there's two ways, right? Like the two ways I look at it, especially when it comes to like VR. And I'll talk to you, Gabe, when you get back in here in a minute. But complete immersion, right? Like when do we plug something into the back of our head and just lay on bed and sort of online, or some just completely immersive virtual reality? space. But then there's also the fact that, well, hey, I'm a physical being. I could stand on a multi-directional treadmill. I could put on a VR headset or maybe eventually a contact lens. I could put on a haptic suit or a motion tracking suit. Or I could put things on my walls that shoot air and water at me. I don't know, right? But the thing is that where are we heading?
Yeah, I think, this year I've seen less of this haptic solution. There are some of them here.
Yeah.
The point is that it's difficult to simulate everything, right? It's difficult to simulate. Right now, if you think about VR, we are almost there, right? We have a headset, which is where you can feel where you're looking at. You can walk. You can walk.
Don't get this though. You can't, like, if you wanted to pick an object up in virtual reality.
But, I mean, in terms of watching, right? In terms of what you feel, the orientation, you can walk, you can move in 6 degrees of freedom, but which are related with the vision, only with the vision. But we have all the senses, right?
Yeah.
Tactile, or the skin. All these kind of things are, I would say, more difficult maybe, or they haven't put a lot of effort enough yet there, right? But there are solutions out there. For example, yesterday, there is a company that was showcasing a controller with a lot of different modes of vibration. There was a car running, and then you feel.
Is this the sitting down one?
No. It's a simple controller. But then there are other more complex, right? But as you said, there are also expensive. They could be expensive, right? Just to make you, feel that you're really embedded in that bit of wall. But it's a matter of time, right? I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a solution here, haptic, that to simulate explosion. So when there is an explosion in the game, then you feel the wave, explosion wave, and the heat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was really.
What? So you put something in front of you?
Something in front of you, no? But you felt in your body, right?
Did it hurt?
No. What you felt? What you felt? There are gloves to pick things in 3D, but it is complex, right? It's complex. Ultimately, there will be something, right? But 100% embedded in the virtual wall and feel everything there is a complex thing. Maybe ultimately will be, instead of having this, just a thought, instead of having these simulations, it will be acting directly in your brain, in the part of the brain that has the feeling. Because
it's a shock to the brain instead.
Yeah, something like that. Because other things are complex, right?
That's the full immersion. Yeah.
Just playing with your brain. I mean, right now there is a lot of
uncharted territory. We don't know what can happen.
Yeah, but
Oh, well, Roberto, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much for joining us. Actually, we're trying to get you on one of the regular innovation coffees.
Yeah, sure. Big pleasure.
Cool. All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. I'll see you in a minute. But yeah. All right, everyone. I think that we're just going to take a second to get Gabe back on here. But fun. I think exploring the virtual reality space after being here on the expo floor and seeing so many things that haven't, we didn't really touch on even everything, right? He was talking about one idea, which was the explosions. I walked down a bit, and they were doing virtual reality on these sitting. You sat down in this rig, and then the rig kind of spun you around and lifted you up and down as you started to interact with the world of the game that you were in. So, Gabe, I don't think I was with you. I think, what was it? I think I went to the Bitcoin conference in Miami last year and they had it there, or maybe.
Yeah, I was. No, I was.
I know you were not there, but there was maybe I was with you. It was like a flat platform, like a little square thing that sat on your desk, and it shot air up out of like hundreds of little holes, and you could actually feel objects.
I know the thing you're talking about, but I wasn't there. I didn't get to see that.
I think I saw that at the Bitcoin conference last year. But either way, the innovation that we're seeing here at this conference with regards to VR. Originally I made the statement, I think yesterday, Web3 is my thing, right? Oh, that's the thing I'm most excited about. But I'm changing it to VR AR because there's just so much happening right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you want to add? Because we've got our guests.
Well, I did want to comment that you were saying we're not at the point where you can touch things and use the pen. We are at that point. There are products, there are force feedback gloves that actually lock your joints when you go to grab something. And so there's
Strings like that come into that.
yeah, and there's a variety of methods. Nothing is mass produced like consumer level yet. Everything I've seen that is actually ready for purchase has been meant for corporate use. But we're getting there. Like the current systems are extremely expensive, but they exist. So hopefully 5 years, 10 years, things like that will be miniaturized and cheap to produce and everyone can experience it.
Yeah, I still think that the full immersion is what I'm after.
The Matrix, you want to be plugged in?
How long, Gabe? How long until we get full of? I want to go into Sword Art Online. I'm gonna be Kirito, the solo player.
I haven't seen that, but I suspect. Oh my gosh! I suspect that things go wrong. There's no way you make a show where things go happy when
Things go wrong because I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Go watch Sword Art Online. If you're in VR, you'll like it. But yeah, things do go wrong, but not because the headset itself, was because the creator of the headset put something in there intentionally.
you're not selling me.
No. The one thing that I am curious about as to why they weren't present is the treadmills. Why aren't we seeing any of those here?
Because, well,
They're maybe.
so I can't say why they're not at GDC, but I know that people have been experimenting with alternative locomotion methods because the treadmills are unique and they're fun, but they're not quite walking or running. There's a lot of limitations. So I've seen a lot of people experimenting with like omnidirectional shoes that keep you standing in place. I even saw a cool, I don't know if you watch Thrill Seeker's videos. He's a VR YouTuber. But he highlighted an open source project where you actually put on this whole suit and you're elevated in the air and it has all these braking systems on your joints. So you can actually like walk, but your feet are in the air, but because of the braking systems, it feels like you're moving. And the cool thing is it's completely open source and you can get access to the blueprints and stuff and build it yourself. I have no idea how it is, but there's all these alternative solutions being created. So,
Well, one day, Gabe, one day.
yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. All right. So I think, we have given you enough today.
Yeah, I think so.
My voice is literally going.
Yeah, mine too.
Like leaning into the camera as though you're going to hear me more, but the microphone's here, so it doesn't matter. Okay, Gabe, I want to say goodbye to everyone. We will be back tomorrow. We do have one more live stream. That's going to be the closing ceremonies. We're going to do a wrap up of everything that we've experienced. Now, I know that some of this stuff may sound repetitive, but maybe it's not the same people watching. And also, we discover new stuff every day. So tomorrow there's going to be new stuff to discover and new things to talk about. Maybe even new people to talk to. So we'll see how that goes. At any rate, Gabe, last words before I give the closing.
No, I don't think so. We'll just see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. My name was and continues to be Robert Wolf.
I'm Gabriel Peterson.
And here at GDC 2023, here bringing you out all of the cool stuff that's happening. If you enjoyed this live stream, make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the ARM Software Developers YouTube channel and head on over to arm.com/developer program. I'm going to flash the card here one last time so that y'all can scan this QR code. Let's get that going. Let's focus on in there. Scan that thing. Head on over, join the ARM software developer movement, and build on ARM. See you next time tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye.